The next topic we're going to be looking at is quadratic equations. So, it's exactly like it sounds. It's a quadratic. So, something in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. But it's also an equation, so it has to be equal to something. And in this case, if everything was moved to the left-hand side, then you'd have 0 on the other side. So, we're looking to solve these sort of things. And we've already run into this a little bit in some of the previous topics where we used our graphics calculator to solve the quadratic. So we'll go over that again. So on the graphics calculator and from the main menu, remember we go into equations and then we're looking to solve a polynomial. So you hit F2 for polynomial, then degree 2 because this is a quadratic, and then you would enter in the numbers for a, b, and c. So if I was trying to solve something like x squared plus 7x plus 6 equals 0, then I would enter in a would be 1, b would be 7, and c would be 6. And then I'd hit F1 to solve, and it would tell me that the solutions were -1 and -6. That means x equals -1 and -6. Now, if we had actually just looked at it, remember the other way to do it is to say what adds to the second term b and multiplies to c in this case. So what two numbers added together would give you 7, and that would be 6 and 1, and what multiplied together would give you 6, and that's also 6 and 1. So we could have factorized it and wrote x plus 1 bracket x plus 6, and then by looking at those brackets, what would I put in the first one? What would I put in this first bracket to make it equal to 0? So something to make that whole equation equal to 0. And it's going to be the opposite of what it's plussing. So -1 plus 1 is 0. And then the second one, what would I put in that one? The opposite of it, so -6. So those are the two solutions. X equals -1 and x equals -6. So when we're trying to solve the quadratic equations, if we've already got it in a factorized form, so let's say they gave us something that's already been factorized, so maybe something like 4 bracket x plus 3 x minus 1 equals 0. So looking at these, the 4 is not even relevant, so there's nothing I can do to the 4 to make this equation equal to 0. But if I look at the next thing, x plus 3, I can put in the opposite there, minus 3, and then the last one, x minus 1, I could put in a plus 1. So the solutions would be x equals -3 and +1. Sometimes they give us an equation, but it's not rearranged to already look like a quadratic. So in that case, you might have something like 4x squared equals 8x plus 21. So remember, when we're trying to solve these, we need to get everything to one side of the equation. So I'm going to minus the 8x and minus the 21, leaving me with a 0 on that side. Now I'm ready to solve it, and I can use my calculator to do that. So once again, I would go into equations, polynomial, degree 2, and then this time I would enter in 4, -8, and -21. And then pushing solve on the calculator, that tells me this time the answers are 3.5 and -1.5. So I would like you guys to try the questions on page 45 and 46 using those methods. So if it's already factorized, you can go right in and try solving it. If it's not factorized, make sure everything's on one side of the equation equal to 0, and then you can use your graphics calculator to solve.